How you doing, folks? So we're still in February. That means we're on step 2 of the recovery steps. And just a quick reminder that all this year I'm gonna touch base on the steps and go kind of a little bit deeper each week into it. And we're on the principle of hope. And step 2 is, as reminders, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. There's gonna be more links on here too that you could read the blog for this week as well. I wanted to read this quote that I thought was really huge, and it's something for us to think about. It's in the big book, page 44. To be doomed to an alcoholic death, I'm going to say also addicted death, a death of anger, of rage, of PTSD, or to live on a spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. But after a while, we have to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life, or else. I'm gonna have to take a walk a little bit on this one. At some point, each and every one of us is gonna be faced with what is really the truth about life. I just got out of church this morning, and that was that was what the sermon was about today. Is that sometimes, and especially as Christians, we straddle the fence, right? We have one foot in the world, one foot with the Lord, and a lot of times in recovery, we're the same way. I mean, those of us that have been addicts or are still struggling with addiction, we know exactly what that means. There's a part of us that feels like, is this it? Is this all that I'm called to live? A life of just addiction and pain and hurt, and it feels like it's just over and over and over again, like you're going in a circle. Or is there something more? Is there something better out there? And all of us can feel it on some level. So we have to ask ourselves, when are we going to submit? When are we going to give ourselves over to the true calling that's in our heart? And it's the truth. There's a truth that's bigger than we realize, bigger than most of us want to acknowledge. And it's real, and it can change us. So for me, I know that every once in a while, I want to drink. I want to go back to maybe having a smoke and, hanging out with my friends at party as well, and, just do those things that I used to do. But then it's funny, the Lord will send someone to me to share a story about someone that, went back to their addiction and how things just went downhill real quick. And they either died or their life is now back in a shambles and they're having to start all over again. And it trips me out because it's like a reminder. Right away, I think to myself, that could be me. That is me. If I cross that line again, that the line that I already put behind me, and I walked away from it, but I'm crossing back into it again, man, my life can just go downhill that quick. I know it. I can just feel it. And it's funny. It just kind of trips me out. It's like, why does God remind me of these things? And then I was realizing this morning, there's always going to be someone that's brokenhearted. There's always going to be someone that's searching for an answer better than what they're living through right now. And maybe my healing, maybe something about my story, something about the way I say things will change the way they feel about themselves, and maybe change the way they think about life, and maybe even spirituality. So me staying on this sober path isn't just for me anymore. It's for the people that are going to hear my stories, for the people that I don't even know or will never ever meet. They might read something and they'll be like, that makes sense. And those are the people I'm looking for. Those are the people that I want to plant a seed in and let God water, because it's really a shift in perspective. It's a change in the way we think, feel about ourselves, about life, and about spirituality. That's what step 2 is really about. We have to decide, what are we going to believe in? Are we going to believe that this life of pain and anger and rage and addiction and sadness and anxiety and depression, is that it? Or is there something more? And when you decide that there is something more, then you go seeking and you just keep reaching out to it and finding it and seeking people and answers and talking to people and, listening to things and reading things, and slowly your perspective changes and you start making different choices. And I've talked about this. So anyway, something to think about. Just remember, it all starts here in your mind. It's all perception. All right.